and I also sell them on 8.5 by 11 glossies.
Oh my.
And
That's a lot of
I
pins for
noticed,
8.5 by
yeah,
11, but it
no,
is a
no,
great
no,
photo.
yeah. But one of the things I noticed for that is if you got a large magnifier and put it over top of there, it's like looking through the poster.
There you go.
It expands it right out. So when I did that, I was real happy with the results, and I'm also selling that on the webpage.
Well, I love my map. I utilize it a lot. It's, because I am new to ufology. I've always been a paranormal investigator, but as my interest learning from you and other people was building in ufology, your books were my first ones that educated me on how much activity there truly is. It's bizarre. I mean, it's really
Yeah, it
bizarre.
is. It
And
is.
I had no concept of what was actually happening out there. And thanks to you, now I have some grasp on that. But my map aids me when, like when I was at a conference in California, a woman who lived in San Diego had all these photographs of different kinds of craft. And I mean, they just came and they were excellent photographs. They were not, I don't believe they were forgeries. I don't think that she could have done that work to create that as a forgery. And I just had the best time listening to someone that was seeing these all the time. Yes, she does live in San Diego, but these were varying craft. They were not always the same in appearance. The lighting systems on them were different, things of that nature. And this woman's getting dead up pictures of them because she gets up in the middle of the night and pays attention.
Uh-huh. That's
So,
smart.
yeah, right? And I was just mesmerized by some of these. So I'm trying to find out what her name is because she never gave me a card. But I would love to share because I ran into a young man who described the exact same image as one of the crafts she had a photo of, and he drew it for me. And I would like to share that drawing with her to get her take on it. So,
Ah.
and he's in Florida. So, these are both coastal regions, which you had mentioned in our previous conversations, see a good bit of activity. And it was just amazing to me that they basically are the exact same craft.
Yeah, there's groups of the same kinds of things being seen. Um, well, when I set out to um, put all of these sightings on, not on a map, on a graph, I wanted to see what was changing from year to year, or from groups of years to groups of years. So if I had taken the 40 something different types of things seen in the sky and tried to look at each one of those through some historical perspective, I'd have all these graphs, and it would be virtually impossible to put all these graphs next to each other and make any information from it. You just couldn't. There'd be so many little graphs that you couldn't make heads or tails out of it.
Right.
So what I did was I combined them. I put them into groups, and then I was able to look at them historically, at least the sections of groups historically. And it was pretty interesting when I did that. Um, because then I saw what was being seen early on,
Mm-hmm.
and versus what's being seen now, and how those kinds of sightings that maybe have been on the decrease and other kinds of sightings have been on the increase. And in some cases, these things being seen are exact inverses of each other.
Really?
It's as if the one thing that went down um, is now morphing itself, or hiding itself, or cloaking itself, or hiding, or changing itself some way so that they look like something else now. So everybody's confused when they look at them, and they'll say, "Oh, there's those flying saucers again." So I suspect something like that's going on.
So, what do you feel would be their purpose in altering the things that they're allowing us to see? I mean, are we supposed to think that this is a whole new fleet from a whole new civilization, or what would be the motivational factor behind that?
Well, the one thing that I think the discs, the flying saucers, are changing themselves into is the things called fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think they're
Really?
doing that, yeah, and the reason I think they're doing that is because when people look at a fireball, they said, "Ah, a meteor," and they look away from it and they don't
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to it. They don't realize that a meteor hits the Earth's atmosphere at 30 to 60,000 miles per hour and goes through the sky in a hell of a hurry. And what they're seeing is sort of floating across the sky, and that can't be a meteor.
No, they can't, because
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thing. I absolutely love watching the night sky, and I have a hammock designed just for that purpose, right? But that's what I do. And I see a lot of fireballs, and to date, I've never seen one that wasn't behaving appropriately.
Uh-huh.
But there's no way, because the reason that they're fireballs is because of how fast they're hitting our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And these other fireballs that I've seen, I saw 9 of them one night. These other fireballs are, they actually look like, hard to describe. They look like a digital fire, like it's created. It doesn't look like real fire. It looks
Really?
like it's been generated. And that's why I think that they're a uh, hiding mechanism for another type of craft.
Have you had anyone else who saw something of this nature who was able to see beyond a facade?
Um,
Or were
I
you
have
able
not.
to?
No, no. All that I saw when I saw these is there were 9 of them. They came through in groups of 2, and there was a single one. They came through in groups of 2, flew in exactly the same direction, and changed in the sky at exactly the same place and altered their course, and then eventually disappeared. They all did exactly the same thing.
Fireballs don't change course.
No. And that's why I was wondering if the ones that I saw had something to do with, maybe they were drones. Um, Maybe they were actual flying saucers that were controlled by one source.
There
But
are those
some,
thoughts that the grays are drones, or AI who are flying those, so they
mhm,
could be programmed to do that. Were that the case?
yeah. So something's going on here that um, that hasn't been put into an equation, and somebody didn't put add 2 and 2 and get a solution yet, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, my money's on you. If anybody can do it, I know you can. But it's a little alarming, don't you think, that these things are morphing and trying to be deceptive where they have not truly tried to hide. I mean, they've just taken advantage of our lackadaisical attitude toward our environment, and they haven't really been deceptive per se. So now this is a different mindset, right?
Yeah, I'm getting terrible breakup, Cat.
Oh, I don't know why. Well, what I said was, if these things are now trying to be deceptive in their appearance and their behaviors, they haven't been traditionally. So there's a different there's a different motivation behind the experiences. What what do you think was the impetus for causing that?
Wow. Um, I'm still having a lot of trouble understanding what you're telling me. Um, uh, and it does say on my computer poor network connection, and that is very unusual for me. I always have a great one, so
Me
I don't
too.
know what's
And
going
mine
on
is
tonight.
showing very strong. I'm actually using a private Wi-Fi. So,
Uh huh.
because I am in Bowling Green, Kentucky, as you know, and
All of a sudden it cleared up. Why don't you ask me a question quick?
what is the motivation between this deception that appears to be occurring now? Because they have not hidden themselves from us in the past. They took advantage
Um,
of our lackadaisical attitude toward our environment. So
okay.
why is it imperative for them not to be readily available or observed, do you think?
Okay. I think I understand where you're going with that.
It was kind of
Why
convoluted,
now? Yeah. Why is there a change now?
right?
Um, I I think that what happened mostly was back in about 2007, there was an increase, an uptick in sightings, and it increased again in 2009 and 2011 through 13 or 14. Um, we had a huge spike. Well, since then, it's dropped off considerably. Well, now, why all of a sudden are the sightings dropping off? Um, my take on that is that I think that they were involved in doing some particular um, job,
Right.
whether it was a scanning, it was a surveying, it was something that they were doing across the whole planet, caused them to throw resources at the job that they were doing. And they finished the job around 2015. And now the sightings are dropping off considerably.
Doesn't that just blow you away?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it does.
I am just, because then you get into, well, what kind of project? And with that, we're going to find out and discuss this a little more in 2 minutes. We will be right back.